Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video about a children's trading card game. The Gate Ruler unofficial World Team Circuit has been quietly taking place in the background. We've had spectators and such and like messages about it, which is obviously very exciting. But anyway, please do follow the accounts I mention here if you do want to know more about it. I am going to be going over the first round of the tournament in this video. So that is going to comprise of two matchups. That is going to be Canada versus the United Kingdom, which is your boy, and then Japan versus the USA, Russia and Spain. Though you will have seen a match from them go up on the channel. That was kind of more of a round zero. They both are playing in round two. Technically, basically every round after this is going to be a little bigger because it's a slightly awkward double elimination bracket, which I will, of course, show you just so you guys understand what it looks like, with some mild spoilers for one of the results, but that's fine. Yeah, so let's basically I'm going to be talking about the results, going to be talking about all that sort of stuff. Very fun, very exciting. Let's go ahead and let's just get cracking here. So, boom, that is slightly annoying. Okay, there we go. So, here it is. This is the bracket. So, let's just go ahead and zoom down here into round one. So, yeah, you can ignore that Russia-UK result there. Don't worry about it, guys. Don't worry about it. Round two is going to take a little bit longer. But yeah, so round one is going to be Canada versus the UK and USA versus Japan. Round two, for the purposes of me reporting this, is going to be Russia versus the UK, Spain versus Japan, and then it's also going to be both of these loser round one matchups. And then round three will then be so round three, or the semi-finals, will be the UK versus whoever. I mean, spoilers, yeah, the UK versus whoever. And then also it'll be losers round two, and then also losers, and then the round four will be losers round three, and then the finals. This is how I'm going to try and structure this. But there we go. So this is just going to be going over the results. So please follow Cartas y Aventuras. That is my amazing Spanish pronunciation. Oh god. For basically the latest up-to-date information. Including, you'll be able to see the round two result a little early before I report on them, so please do give them a follow. Let's begin. So here we go. We're gonna zoom in a little bit here. So the first official, really the UK kicking it off. Really, when you think about it. So Canada versus the UK. Let's have a look at the decks and the results. And for just in the interests of this not being like a 40-minute video, I will only be showcasing and discussing lists that won at least 3 games. For those of you who don't know the format that this event took place in, it was a best of 1 round robin. It was best of 1 because the time differences are a little bit wacky, and it makes organising things very difficult when you need to budget like 6 hours as opposed to about 3. So yeah, best of 1. You play 5 games, 1 against every single other deck. And yeah, essentially I'm only going to be discussing decks that had a positive score. So what did Canada bring? Well, we had Cardwarp, who was playing Berserker, and that is blue-pink Berserker. Then we had Patrick, who brought Endbringer, which was blue-black. We had Kitkey XD, who played Highlander, going for red, pink, yellow. That's the way I would do it. Then we've got Exbo60, who took Trickster Genesis. And I will say, I think for this in particular, I do think 1 win was a bit unfortunate. Like, this deck is better than I think that 1 win demonstrates. But anyway, and that was of course red and yellow. And then they took finally Twitchy FB took Apprentice yellow, not yellow, red, pink, and that was sort of robotic focus. Over to the UK then, we had Tomomo playing Wizard yellow blue. It was Lucy Arras. It's called Genesis. It was Lucy Arras. Then we had Gunolf on Knight, who played red yellow Genesis. So you can see both players there going 5-0. Then it was your boy, me on Alice, blue pink Wizard going 4-1. I got Ooga Boogered by Berserker. which you can read more about in my on my Twitter. Follow me at Academy Aibo. Then we had Zistral on Trickster Burn, which was of course blue-pink. And finally, we had Dr. Beppis TM on Highlander, who was also playing yellow, pink, red. And the overall result was 6 points to Canada and 19 points to the UK. How are points calculated? It's simple. It's just 1 point for a win, 0 points for a loss. That's it. So that was the results of this first round here. So let's then go ahead and talk about all the lists that won at least 3 games, which you can see as a result of 2 players going 5-0 on the UK and 1 player going 4-1. It was basically just UK people. So let's go ahead and discuss those. Firstly, we're going to be talking about this Lucy Arras deck. And I will say this was basically a completely theory-crafted deck that didn't really get tested. As you can see, it went quite well. But this was basically us sitting down and going, all right, well, what's the key factors of Lucy Arras? Well, it's Lucifer and it's Arras. So how do we ensure you're getting Arras while you play a Genesis Summon package? So that's basically what we did. And I think, especially after round 2, there are changes we're going to be making to this list. But how did this perform? Yes, it performed very well. I think there are definitely pieces that really weren't very essential that can just be gotten rid of, cute combos that we tried to force in that aren't super good. But, fundamentally, the main thing you're doing with this deck is you are slamming down Lucifers to fuck over your opponent. You are playing Arras to stop basically any kind of removal, really, outside of giant killing and defender destruction. It's kind of the only relevant ones. AiboVault is an underrated card, I need to say that now, and definitely would be playing more draw cards in a updated build of this deck. And obviously Embrace of Aeons is a ridiculous card. Sonic Voltage was actually quite nice. Just getting a Regan Leaf sometimes at counter, if they swing with Ruler first, can be pretty nice if you don't just Lucy. Although they were very, very, I don't think anyone really makes that misplay anymore of swinging with Ruler first. But yes, so this is the Lucy Arras list. And overall, despite it going 5-0, I would say this is probably like 60 to 70% of the way to an optimal Lucy Arras list. I definitely think there's some upgrades that can be made. Skystrike Arrow, of course, also did some very heavy lifting, and Vabilsion, also an absolutely ridiculous card. Do not sleep on a 5 HP defender, is all I will say. A 5 HP Sentinel Summoner is cracked. Next, we have got the Knight Genesis Summon list here, and this deck has been just performing incredibly well. Spoilers for the round 2, it also did very well. We played that today as the time of this recording, so it also did very well in that. But let's, we talk through what are the sort of the big things here. Well, again, AiboVault, it turns out 7 attack with 2 breakthrough is actually really good in this format. It's playing Arras, taking advantage of that, and really I think the thing to just emphasize with this deck is it just goes, like it just works. You are basically always hitting a Genesis Summon, and really your biggest fear is just getting interrupted. You heal a lot, shockingly. You have just lots of ways to really kind of annoy and counter the opponent. You get to sort of take advantage of these tools like Skystrike Arrow, like Vabilsion. You get your draw 2 from Konohana Sakia. The deck just works. Honestly, I really recommend you guys try it out. It's just very, very good. And don't sleep on those reduced to zeros, they're kind of good, as I learned. So then we come on to Alice, and this has undergone some changes since the deck profile I uploaded, and basically a lot of this was meta calls. So as I played this deck, I do have a lot to say about it, and I think I will just reserve that until the end of the tournament, when I've fully coalesced my full perspective optimized version of the list. And I'll probably chuck up a new deck profile for it. But major things to talk about. 4 copies of Lady of the Grail I think is mandatory in a format where Trickster Burn exists. It's another Sentinel Summoner that you can just get out. 2 energy is really not a big deal. It's very, very strong. Embrace of Aeons is ridiculous. This card is so essential. You get to stop Lucifers, you get to deal with Arras. The card is really, really strong. Probably going to bump it up to 4. I think, honestly, the biggest reason I was playing 3 zaps was the fact that I have Ubers. I think it is the optimal play to swap one of those zaps for a Embrace of Aeons. I just think, yeah, that kind of has to be done. Sonic Voltage has been really, really good, and Dash Jordan is amazing. I think it's tough, but I think I may bump Dash Jordan up to 4 copies. Sonic Voltage is really, really good. It's very difficult to sort of juggle between the two. But yeah, and I'll say that once you get your Alice combo up and running, this deck is
kind of impossible to break through. Like, it's very rare that your opponent's going to have enough really good things. For Future Men, honestly, been a bit disappointing. It's kind of just been a 5-3 on vanilla, and I think on level 1 there's probably better things we can be playing in that slot. So I think, you know, it's just the deck doesn't really play the Future Folk package at a big enough size for this to be worth it anymore. So I think For Future Men's probably the weakest link here. But other than that, yeah, I think this deck is just really, really solid. It works. Toughest matchup is Lucy Harris and Berserker, and that's what I lost to. I lost to Berserker because, you know, Ooga Booga 4 damage is quite a lot, and I'll probably be including some reduced to zeros to deal with that from now on. And then next we have Trickster Burn. I believe I've also made a deck profile on this. Let me just move my face over here. There we go. And yeah, so I've spoken at length about how good this deck is. I think the one thing I'd change is I'd probably swap over one of the 2 blades, or 2 swords, or whatever it's called, 2 paths to another Cosmic Ifrit, just to get those 12 burn CMTs. I think that is probably worth it. But yeah, I think, you know, the deck works at this point. I think we've kind of, you know, we've basically solved Trickster Burn. The differences you make between lists are going to be really small, really minimal, really just based on, like, personal preference. So yeah, you know, like, it just works. It works, it just works. Next, we have the USA-Japan result here. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this. So, this was a very exciting matchup. I was very interested to see how this went, because some of the US players, shall we say, in particular, I won't name and shame, but some US players have been very vocal about the fact that they think the format is solved, and that the game, you know, or there's, you know, we've solved it, you know, Japan sucks, blah blah. I'm not ratting anyone out here, but I'm just saying this result does not reflect too well on those US players because they lost. Let's go ahead and talk through the decks here. So the US took the first deck here is Overlord Military, which is pink-red. Then we have Ruler Burn, Trickster blue, pink. Incidentally, HCXC Bubbles, I believe, came second at the 1K. It was second or third. Jared King Modai here on Overlord Beasts with red blue, only getting 1 win. And then yellow blue Wizard Alice going 0 wins, and Zuberian Military Overlord blue red also going 0 wins. That is peak. I'm not gonna comment on the 0 wins. That's tough, bro. I feel bad for you. Moving over to Japan, then we have Zoo Control, Commander Y on Zoo Brigade and Control as a Trickster deck, and this is a really cool deck which I'm excited to talk about, and that is blue-red. On Knight we have Abu, which is Minotaur Genesis on pink-red. Honestly, I've tried this deck out. I was kind of surprised to see it go 4-1, so I definitely will be testing this deck a bit more moving forward. Then on Knight Alice, this pink blue Knight Alice, obviously Knight, not necessarily what I would expect, but I can see the logic there as a 4-1. I cannot read kanji, so I'm very sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Then we have Bamuhato, I think, Bamuhato. Sorry, on Trickster, red, blue, yellow, blue. I cannot read Japanese. I'm a fraud. On Dark Knight Zuberate, another very cool deck there. And finally, another kanji I cannot read on Wizard, Lucy Arras, which we will of course be talking about, which was yellow, blue there. And Japan, absolutely just 18. That's an L. That is a sizable dub for Japan there. You know, as big as the dub for the UK was here, 19-6. You know, that's a pretty big dub. I will say 18-7 is a basically identically big dub. That's pretty mad. Let's go ahead and look at the decks here. So first we have got our Knight, our Knight yellow pink deck. I just forget words sometimes. And this is the Minotaur deck. And this is like a very, very cool deck. So the concept of the deck is basically like the Minotaurs get each other out of damage. They have these very powerful effects, like they can just pop stuff. right? They do a shit ton of damage, and you can Genesis summon into them. They're warriors, so you can get them out with Aras. And yeah, just generally speaking, you can kind of abuse the fact that the nice thing, right, with the new way Genesis Summon works is you can actually afford to use Astromancies because you're kind of Genesis Summoning for one, kind of. I think it is, the tough thing is obviously you do need to be going into beasts when you're Genesis Summoning, so as a result of that you do need to be playing Zahira at 4 copies, which is obviously you never really want to be hard calling. I personally, I would have liked to have seen some copies of the other level 1 Paula, maybe, but I also definitely think this list will have been through significant testing, and it's very different to the last one I gave go. So yeah, here's the list. I think it looks very solid. Aras is there to give you that versatility, so you can, always, like, basically no matter what, you can be making something that heals and having a defender there, so that's really, really good. Then here we have the yellow-blue Trickster deck, this military deck, and you're probably looking at this and you're like, what the fuck is this? Essentially, the game plan here is you are just going for Big Owl, and you're just going to kill with the Big Owl, right? You're just going to keep pitching, and you're just going to go swing, 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 swing. So to that end, you can see there's actually a lot of very interesting choices here, right? So Nox Jin, suddenly Trickster makes a very good card because you can go ahead and special summon it out after like your opponent attacks. And then when you Lucifer, like you then because they're obviously, like, it might be the end of the turn, but either way, they've attacked you. When you Lucifer, you get charge shield on it. You can see here my favorite inclusion in this deck has got to be this genie here, because you can just pitch it and end the opponent's turn. You're playing Trickster, you very well may draw it. Just a really fun card to piss the opponent off, I think. It's a sort of whole Dark Knight kind of vibe to sort of control the board until you basically go for the kill. When you've amassed a massive hand, you can like DR to targetedly snipe these really annoying tools. For example, Lucifers. For example, Embrace Vions. With this level 0 here, White Knight, which is really, really solid. Yeah, overall, I just think this deck looks super cool. I'm going to be testing this as well. All these these Japanese decks are like really exciting to me, and I'm very excited to play them all and see how they've interpreted the format. Because you can see, Japan took very different decks to what we in the West have been taking. So I think that's like been really, really cool. So yeah, another very solid list here. Then we got another Trickster deck here. Sorry, another Trickster deck here. And this one is the Dark Knight. Sorry, that previous one was Dark Knight Zoo Brigade. This one is the Zoo Brigade Control. But it's the same sort of deal, where you're like, the goal is kill with Owl and basically play the sort of controlling game here, right? So here the difference is you're going for red to sort of gain. Here it's you're leaning very much into the get big hand. Because you've got 4 copies of a draw 1 CNT in the original Big Owl. You've got your draw 2 in Konohana Sakya. I can't remember what the name of the card is. You can see like really there's a lot of draw 2s here. Copy of Win-Win. Hey, draws a card. Once that's relevant. I like the Captain Zombie in this list as well, just so you can keep bringing things out. Obviously, Eons is an amazing card. The only the only counter here that's maybe a bit weird is Citizens Act, but heal out the Liberty makes sense, and you can obviously play it as for free from your hand. I do like the counter, like basically 1 cost from burn 5 essentially, because it's Trickster, which is really good too. But yeah, like another sort of similar kind of vibe. Still playing that Jin kind of loose combo. Obviously Jin's like good in general because you're slamming down like a free body. Yeah, I think just another very solid list here, which I will be excited to test myself. Then we have got our Knight Alice list, and this is really interesting. Really interesting. So you can see first of all, playing the set 1 Alice at all is an interesting move. But you see, like, this list is so totally different. It's far more aggressive, right? You're playing things like Ed, which so you have more healing, you have more capacity to heal because you have your Schrodinger's cats, which are obviously going to be quite expensive when you do play them. But then you also have your Eds to play your Schrodinger's cats, and obviously, like, cat into cat is a very powerful combo. You're also playing your level 1 cat there to like keep those level 3 cats in the damage, so you can do that sort of spicy thing there. And you've basically got lots of untapping because you're going to be playing these big events. and you've got stuff like Mist Clock to really aid you in that aggression, and you've got untappers and stuff in Alice. It makes more sense when you're going to be tapped out all the time, like as Knight, to want to play a few copies of those untappers. I just think this is a very interesting take on Alice, and I am going to be giving it a go for sure. It's obviously very divergent from the stereotypical, like you would read it and go wizard. But I definitely think the aggro potential is very much here, and obviously Alice has such strong defensive potential when it gets set up anyway that it's very interesting, very exciting. I want to try this out for sure. Mist Clock is big. Don't forget, the Mist Clock is big. In this list, I would probably like to have seen some 4 future wins. I don't know how you fit it in, to be honest, because everything here does seem fairly essential. But since you're playing the Starship Captain Eds, you have a big enough future end package, and a 5/3/1 double attacker with a charge shield is really good. So but yeah, just a very nice list here. And then finally on the Japan side, we've got this very traditional Lucy RS. Playing stuff like this is really leaning into it, right? So Anubis is obviously amazing because you just get to look at the opponent's hand, you get the pitch, it's a warrior, you can heal that with Aras. Only 2 copies of Skullvitch, but it is also leaning into that Gen Summon sort of aspect there, and I think this is much more of a sort of fusion kind of list than you look back to the old 1K Lucy Aras list, you look back to the Gen Summon list that the UK played. I think this is more in the direction I would be going, having played that event. So I definitely do think that this is an interesting take. There are things I would change from this, but by and large, I am a fan of this. I think, and look, at the end of the day, it's Lucy Aras. The idea is to do your degenerate thing and to do it well, and this will certainly be doing that degenerate thing and doing it well. Can I just say, by the way, there is nothing more tilting than your opponent summoning level 1 Paula, top 3, adding Cat, and then pitching the combo piece. My God, that's tilting. I don't know why, it just really annoys me. But yeah, another very solid list. Japan really brought the heat, I think. Then we have got the American list as well. So here we've got the Overlord military list here. And guys, when you just play your big dragons, and they have big stats, and you can restand your big stat dragons, things can be quite difficult for the opponent. This has a surprising amount of healing, which is obviously very nice when you're going to be having DR4 just to get out your boss monster. And some fun tech choices like I'm just going to put your unit in damage zone, which can somehow swing a game. These are things that are really good. It's really nice to be getting value when you just have to be clearing a board and still dealing damage. It's nice. So yeah, I definitely think this list looks decent. I can imagine it's a bit bricky though. I definitely do get that impression looking at it, and I definitely feel that can be a bit of an issue. But I feel like once you get set up, and if you're not getting absolutely reamed by giant killing, this can be a very scary deck. Obviously, you've got that checked up to fixed hands as well. And finally, we have got the Trickster burn here. It's tried and true. You know how it is. This is a different focus for the list, more military focused. That's cool, and I like it for sure. But yeah, that is the final list. So that is the sort of wrap up of round 1. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found these lists useful, informative. I hope you're going to be able to gain something from them. And I hope you're all really excited for the matchups coming in round 2, because I definitely think that in round 1, not everyone was taking it as seriously as they perhaps should have been. But in round 2, I can see the heat is getting brought, and I'll let you in on a little spoiler. Russia obviously played a round 1 previously against Spain, like at round 0. Russia, it was a close match. It was a very close match, Russia and the UK. It was really close. I'm excited to tell you guys more about that at the appropriate time. But follow Cartas y Aventuras if you want to really get that shit early. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel for more Gate Ruler content. Look forward to some live, compilations of matches from those rounds that we just talked about just now, which you should be getting soon. And I will see you guys in the next video.